Hello book friends, how's it going? It's Kat. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel, and I should also start introducing my snoring dog, who always seems to be snoring in the background when I'm filming. She's always right under the tripod where I'm filming. It's hysterical. She is my shadow. I read primarily romance novels. I fell in love with the genre like most people a few years back with a certain type of book, but that really just opened the door to all these amazing authors and amazing books that I have found in my time reading in the romance genre. I feel blessed to come across wonderful authors with incredible storylines about my favorite thing in the world, which is romance and love. I hope you had wonderful holidays. I'm filming this the day after Christmas. I feel like it's been forever since I sat down to film a video, when really it's only been a couple of weeks. During that time, I read this book. I was so excited to finally get to this book. It came out a little bit earlier in the year and has done really well for this author. The book is called Gorgeous Gyno by Karen Deen. I have not read Karen's other books yet, but she did approach me when she was finishing up this book. We have a common friend, a common author friend, and she knew that I lived in the Chicagoland area where this book takes place. She's from Australia, so she wanted me to look it over real quick and see if it seemed legit. Oh my gosh, Karen, A+. You did a great job. I love reading books that take place in my hometown. There's just an extra connection to the story, and this book was exactly that. She brought up some of my favorite places in Chicago in this book, so it was definitely a bit of kismet. I was supposed to read this book. I'm glad I was finally able to read this book. Karen has several other books, like I mentioned, and I have to ask her, and I'm not sure, but it seems like they're all within the same, I don't know, what am I trying to say? The titles are all similar. They are Love's Hot, Love's Fun, Love's Hiding. So that really intrigued me when I was preparing for the video and looking back and seeing what else she had written. Really looking forward to diving into those books. This book, Gorgeous Gyno, which has an amazing cover. Oh my gosh. Like, if you're gonna put man candy on the cover, this was perfect. Beautiful cover. I'm going to show it in, where is it usually? I think it's usually over here on me. Anyway, I'll put it on one of the sides of me. It's the story of Grayson and Tilly. It's funny because it seems like the name Tilly is making a comeback, because now this is the second book that I've read in the recent past where it has the name Tilly. Love that name. Matilda? I don't know. I'm not sure, but Tilly seems fun. Some of my favorite places that Karen mentioned in Chicago in her book were the Blackstone Hotel, Lincoln Park Zoo, Timothy O'Toole's Pub, which is, I've been there several times. She mentions Grant Park. It was just so, I just love that I can connect with, and I can, I talk all the time about how books play like movies in my head. So to have the actual movie playing in my head as I'm reading in places that I've been, it's just one of my favorite things in the world when it comes to my reading life. So let's get into the meat of the story. Tilly is an event planner. I loved the name of her company, which she combined her name and her best friend's name, who runs the company with her, called Fleur Tilly. Tilly is a career woman. She is busy building her business with Fleur, so she doesn't really seem to be interested, maybe not interested, but she's just put her dating life to the side. They are building their business. They are kick-ass women. She's like, I don't have time for, games. I don't have time for dating. That's not to say she doesn't want all those things. Then there's Grayson. He's a well-established doctor. He has a great group of friends around him. In fact, I was wondering a little bit if maybe we were gonna get some more stories with his friends. The first time that Grayson and Tilly meet, she's literally walking out of a building and he's running past, like he's on a run, and he runs into her, and they literally run into each other. And they look at each other and he's like, wow. And she's like, wow. And she's just like, okay, but I'm plugging away. I got to go, you know, to my next meeting. And she gets into a cab and leaves. But they do have a little bit of interaction. The second time they meet, Tilly decides with her friend Hannah to go to an event that her and Fleur are putting on. That it's a masquerade ball. She's gonna wear a mask on her face. Nobody will know it's her. Grayson's at the event. They lock eyes, they interact, they like each other. During that night, they both realize that they have this chemistry and they really like each other. They have good flirtation, they're drawn to each other. Grayson's kind of like, whoa. He kind of seemed like a little bit of a player. He's a handsome, successful man who has women falling at his feet all the time. Tilly challenges him in their banter, which I really liked. And he's kind of like, he's the one that kind of falls for her first. She's way more reserved, way more scared. But that's how they meet for the second time. The third time, fate really wanted them to be together, let me tell you. The third time they meet is the next morning. And this was so awkward, written perfectly, because it was like cringy, and yet, oh my God, that would never happen, but oh my God, that could totally happen. So she has a gynecological appointment, and so she shows up, and oh my gosh, every woman's worst nightmare, hot gynecologists, let me tell you, right? But yet he's looking down there and he recognizes her because she has a distinguishing mark. Oh my God, it was so awkward, but it was so awesome in that it was obviously amazing writing. And it's so funny because it made me think back to my OBGYN was in a practice with, it was two women, himself and then another man, and the other doctor in the practice, well, I never had, actually I did have interaction with him, but I only once did I have interaction. Okay, he was really hot. And I'm not gonna say his name, but my sister went to the practice, some of my friends went to the same practice, and they were like, oh my God, have you seen him? Oh my God, oh my God. I hope I don't get him. But I can remember us all talking about it and being like, oh gosh, I hope I don't get him today, you know? Because, you know, when I had complications with one of my daughters, and so I would just have to go into the hospital. So it's the luck of the draw who you get from the practice, who's ever on call. And actually it was him one time. Yeah, but that's my personal connection with a hot doctor. So I understood 100% Tilly's mortification when she realizes it's Grayson, and oh my God. The fourth time they meet, which fourth time was the charm for them, is he knows, you know, stepping back a little bit with the third time, he knows he wants to see her again. He enjoyed their time together. But he knows now that they've had the doctor-patient interaction, he can't pursue her. He can't call her. He's trying to figure out how he can see her again, and she's pissed off. But she also felt like, you know, she really liked him, but she's really pissed at him. And a couple days goes by, maybe it's a week or so. She can't stop thinking about him. He can't stop thinking about her. And they run into each other on the street. I mean, like I said, fate really wanted them to be together with some help from their friends, that they're going to give it a try. They had great banter, like I said. I loved their interactions. She teases him about his ego all the time, but there was something really sweet and humble and endearing about Grayson that I really felt. He did have a big ego. He was full of himself. I think that there's a lot of doctors that act that way naturally. They have a little bit of a God complex. I'm not saying that he did. I'm saying kind of the opposite about him, that he did have this ego, and she called him on it all the time. but there was something so sweet about him. And I felt myself understanding Tilly's apprehension about wanting to get involved with him, but yet really liking him. And he was like, oh my God, like he was like struck by a lightning bolt when they spent time together and knew that she was the one he wanted. And I loved that about him. He was very swoony, very sweet. At one point, it's so funny because she knows that he's hot and like he could have any girl he wants. And he ends up meeting her friend Hannah. And Hannah's like mouth drops open because she's like, oh my God, this is him. Like, you know, he's so sexy, so hot. And it's funny because until he calls him on it and she's like, seriously, how do you live together, your ego and you? Two big things stood out to me for each of the characters that I really liked. And I've talked before about how I like to highlight in my Kindle. And these were two passages that I highlighted that were my absolute favorite in the whole book. The first one comes from Grayson. It's at a point in the book where, you know, he's all in and she's, you know, he's kind of pulled her along a little bit because she's definitely more trepidatious than he is about the whole thing. And so they've gotten to a point in their relationship and they have expressed how they feel about each other. And this is what he says. Those three little words have me smiling for the rest of the day. It's one competition I'll be happy to have with her for the rest of our lives. Showing how much love we have for each other is the best game I can think of. Oh my gosh, I loved it. And then my favorite thing that Tilly says, and it's quite long, so bear with me, but it really hit me right in the heart. There are so many kisses in this world. There are family kisses on cheeks, on hands, polites, hellos, and goodbyes. Then that first kiss with someone is all on its own. When you are fumbling through that initial touch, that hot and steamy, I just want to eat you kiss. That kiss can be placed anywhere on your body and you feel the intensity of it. A romantic I love you kiss can be the one that reminds you that your heart belongs to them and there is no other way to express how they feel. Then there's that kiss, the one on your forehead, your face held in both of his hands. It's so soft and longing, telling you how absolutely treasured you are. It's not sexual, it's loving, and it's everything. Grayson is telling me I'm everything. That strength is enough to take on anything. I love that. I am so glad I was finally able to read Gorgeous Gyno. I didn't know what to expect from the title. We do find out where the title comes in later. She called him her Gorgeous Gyno. I mean, it was that simple, but it was so sweet. I would highly recommend this book by Karen Deen. I'm definitely looking forward to reading her other books. Let me know if you have read Gorgeous Gyno in the comments below or any of her other books. I would love to have you hit the subscribe button and follow me on social media. Make sure to come say hi. I love when I get comments and connect with people on social media. It's Kat Reads Romance on Facebook and Instagram. I'm coming up on my channel's 1-year anniversary and I'm hard at work figuring out how to celebrate that. I'm definitely going to do something. I've got a few things in the works. So if you subscribe, you won't miss any of my updates regarding my channel's anniversary. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye.